Welcome to Basic Thermodynamics class. We are discussing chapter 4 A standard cycles. So in this class we discuss about some problems based on a Carnot cycle and Otto cycle. In the previous period we discussed about the definition of a standard cycle and what is the purpose of a standard cycle and the limitations of a standard cycles and the reversible process and reversible cycle and Carnot cycle and some simple problems on a Carnot cycle. So in this class we will discuss about some more problems on a Carnot cycle and on Otto cycle. So in this class, we will solve some more problems based on a Carnot cycle. So in the last class we will solve the simple problems. So we will move some more problems in depth. So first, a Carnot engine cycle develops 1.7 horsepower. HP means is a horsepower while receiving 100 megajoules. It's not given as a kilo, it's given as a megajoules per hour. Megajoules per hour and rejects heat to a reservoir receiver at 20 degrees centigrade. Determine the upper temperature of the cycle and its efficiency. So they are asking, and in the problem they mentioned it is in a Carnot cycle. So we know that the efficiency of the Carnot cycle is a 1 minus T2 minus T1, where T2 is a low temperature and T1 is a higher temperature. So in this problem they asked to calculate the high temperature means T1 and the cycle efficiency. So and in the given that it's a power. Is a power is nothing but whatever the work done by 1000 kilowatt, we will get the power. If you calculate the work done simply divided by 1000 we will get in kilowatts. If already it is a work is in kilojoules we can write it as a kilowatts. So here the work done is equal to 17 horsepower. So we can convert this horsepower into kilowatts and this megajoules per hour into joules per second. Joules per second. So first write the given data. So work done is equal to 17 horsepower. So power is nothing but the work output, 17 horsepower. So 1 horsepower is equal to 0.736 kilojoule per second. So you have to remember this value. So it is very important. So 1 horsepower is equal to 0.736 kilojoule per second. Simply multiply with 17 because in the problem they mention it is a 17 horsepower. 17 into 0.736 is equal to 12.51 kilojoule per second. So this is a work done. So work done we will get next while receiving 100 megajoule per hour. So heat input to the engine means heat supplied or heat in or Q1. So I am writing Q in 100 megajoule per hour. So I am converting into kilojoule per hour because here the work I am represent as a kilojoule per second. So I am converting this megajoule also kilo. So if you write in terms of a joule per hour means simply write a 10 power 6. So I am not writing as a joule, I am putting it in a kilojoule. So kilojoule means 10 power 3 and hour. So 1 hour is equal to 3600 seconds, and here you have to observe that hour is in denominator. So you have to convert the hour in denominator only. So in denominator it becomes 3600 seconds. So the final unit becomes 27.78 kilojoule per second. So work done is 12.51 kilojoule per second and heat input to the engine is 27.78 kilojoule per second. Here the unit conversion is very important. If you did mistakes in the unit conversion, the whole problem will get wrong. So be careful in the conversions of the unit. So first take that here engine develops So power 17 horsepower, this nothing but the work output. So work output 17 horsepower, and you have to remember that 1 horsepower is equal to 0.736 kilojoule per second. Simply multiply with this 17 into 0.736, we will get 12.5 kilojoule per second. After that, they given 100 megajoules per hour. I am converting into kilojoule per hour, 100 into 10 power 3 by 3600, because hour is in denominator, so we have to change in denominator only. So it becomes 27.78 kilojoule, and rejects the heat at the reservoir, means is equal to 20 degrees centigrade. I am converting into the Kelvin. 20 plus 273, 293 Kelvin. So efficiency of the Carnot cycle, we know that the formula work output by heat input, work output divided by heat input. So work output they given as a 12.51 and heat input as a 27.78. So by dividing work output by heat input, we will get the 0.45. So it is efficiency, no, we have to multiply with 100, we will get 45 percentage. Next, and they also calculate, I also asked to calculate the maximum temperature or the highest temperature. So maximum temperature or the highest temperature is a T1. So we got the efficiency of the Carnot cycle as a 0.45. Substitute 0.45 is equal to T1. We don't know the T1, so substitute the T2 value. T2 value is a 293. So 0.945 is equal to 1 minus 293 by T1. So T2 by T1 bring to the this side, RHS side, and 0.44 to the LHS side. So T2 by T1 becomes 1 minus this plus 0.4 comes to LHS side, means it comes as a minus 0.45, and minus T2 by T1 it comes as a plus T2 by T1. So T2 by T1 is equal to 1 minus 0.45 is equal to 0.55. So T2 by T1 is equal to 0.45, and we want only the T1. So T1 is equal to, I am bringing this cross multiplication, that this T1 will comes to the LHS side and 0.55 come to the this side. So T1 is equal to T2 divided by 0.55. So we know the T2 value given in the data, 293 divided by 0.55. So 532 Kelvin. If you want the answer in degree centigrade, simply minus with the 273 degrees. With 532 minus 273 is a 259 degrees centigrade. So we will get the maximum temperature as a 259 degrees centigrade. In this problem, main important thing is the conversion. So we have to convert the horsepower into kilojoule per second and the megajoule per second per hour into the kilojoule per second. So after that, we all know the formulas of the Carnot efficiency and the work output and the heat input. So simply substituting all these values given in the given data into the efficiency of the Carnot cycle, we will get the efficiency and maximum temperature also. Maximum temperature also. Maximum temperature is 259 degrees centigrade. Efficiency is 45 percentage. So next problem. The high temperature of a Carnot cycle is 400 degrees centigrade, and the cycle has an efficiency of 55 degrees 55 percentage. The volume ratio of expansion of the isothermal process is 2.8. Determine the low temperature of the cycle, adiabatic volume ratio, overall volume ratio, expansion ratio, and adiabatic index value gamma is 1.4. So these problems are important for the 5 marks. The high temperature of the Carnot cycle, the high temperature of Carnot cycle is represented with the T1. T1 is equal to 400 degrees centigrade. So by adding a 273, it converted into the Kelvin, it becomes 673 Kelvin, and the cycle has the efficiency 55 percentage. So efficiency is equal to, we all know that 1 minus T2 by T1. So we know the T1 value and the efficiency value. By using this formula, we will get the T2 value. the volume ratio of expansion. So expansion ratio volume is nothing but V2 by V1 of the isothermal process is 2.8. Calculate the low temperature T1, adiabatic volume ratio, overall expansion ratio. First write given data. Upper temperature T1 400 plus 273 673 Kelvin. Efficiency 55% is given, so I am converted into 0.55. Adiabatic index 1.4. Expansion ratio. So if you draw the, and it is a very important, we have to draw the Carnot cycle of a PV diagram, because they represent the given in the problem as a expansion ratio. So expansion ratio is R is equal to V2 by V1. If you take A, B, C, D, so I am writing here, I am taking the PV cycle as A to B, B to C, C to D, D to A. That's why I am taking the expansion ratio R is equal to VB by VA, that is 2.8. Next, first we have to calculate the low temperature. So we all know that the efficiency is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. So we know the efficiency value 0.55 is equal to 1 minus T2. We don't know T2, we have to find out the T2 divided by 673. That is 0.55 is equal to 1 minus T2 divided by T1. So bring this T2 by T1 minus T2 by T1 to the RHS side, and it becomes plus T2 by T1, and bring this 0.55 to the LHS side, it becomes 1 minus 0.55. So T2 by T1 is equal to 0.45, and substitute the T1 value. T2 divided by 673 is equal to 0.45. So cross multiplication, this 673 multiply with 0.45, we will get the T2 value. So T2 is equal to 673 into 0.45 is equal to 303 Kelvin. And observe that after completing the problem, we have to check the answer, because we all know that the T2 is a low temperature, means we will get the answer less than the T1. So check here, T1 is the 673 Kelvin and this is the maximum temperature. So obviously we will get the T2 less than 673. So check it, it is less than 673, this is a 303 Kelvin. If you get the answer more than 673, means there is a mistake in your calculations. So check once. You have to check once. Always in the Carnot cycle, the higher temperature is a T1 and the lower temperature is a T2. So here T1 is a maximum temperature 673 and the T2 is a lower temperature 303 Kelvin. Next, if you want to convert into the degree centigrade, simply subtract the 303 with the 273 we will get in terms of a degree centigrade. So 303 minus 273 is equal to 30 degrees centigrade. So low temperature or the minimum temperature for the Carnot cycle is a 30 degrees centigrade. Next, you all know that the PV diagram for the Carnot cycle, you have to draw the Carnot PV diagram for the Carnot cycle. Isothermal expansion, adiabatic expansion, isothermal compression, adiabatic compression. So we all know that expansion ratio is V2 by V1 is equal to R. So you have to draw this PV diagram for the Carnot cycle before solving the problem. Here the volume ratio. We all know that the relations between volume and the temperature in adiabatic process is Vc by Vb, because here we are taking as a ABCD, that's why Vc by Vb is equal to 1 minus gamma T2 by T1. So we want adiabatic expansion ratio value. So I am putting this 1 minus gamma into, bringing this 1 minus gamma into this LHS side. Then it becomes a Vc by Vb is equal to T2 by T1 whole power 1 by 1 minus gamma. 1 by 1 minus gamma. Or simply we can write this also, so T1 by T2. I am interchanging the numerator denominator, and in the power it will get the minus. So I am bringing this minus into this side. So observe that here it is a T2 by T1 whole power 1 divided by 1 minus gamma. And if you change the numerator and denominator, T1 by T2 means you will get the minus 1 by 1 minus gamma. So I am taking this minus into here, and this it becomes a gamma minus 1. So we know the T1 value, T2 value and the gamma value. Substitute all the values in T1 by T2 whole power 1 by gamma minus 1. We will get the 7.343. 7 point adiabatic expansion ratio is a 7.343. So 1 divided by 1.4 minus 1, nothing but the 1 divided by 0.4. 1 divided by 0.4. So we will get the expansion ratio as a 7.343. Overall expansion ratio. So overall expansion ratio means the process A to B, B to C, C to D, D to A. So overall expansion is nothing but the VC by VA is equal to, we can write this as a VC by VB into VB by VA. So VC by VB we calculated in the previous B bit, we got the 7.343, and VB by VA is given in the data as a 2.8. So overall expansion ratio is nothing but the 20.44. 20.44. So overall expansion, and by seeing the PV diagram we can tell it is in a VC by VA. So VC by VA is here, we can write like this, simply multiplying and dividing with a VB, we can get VC by VB into VB by VA. If you cancel VB by VB, same it remains a VC by VA. That's why we are multiplying and dividing with a VB. VC by VB into VB by VA. So in the B bit we calculate the VC by VB, we got the 7.34, and VB by VA as a 20 as a 2.8 given in the data. So multiply both the values, we will get the 20.44. Overall expansion ratio is 20.44. So next problem. A Carnot engine is operating between the two reservoirs at a temperature 750 degrees centigrade and 35 degrees centigrade. If the engine receives 220 kilojoules of heat from the source, calculate the heat rejected, efficiency and work done. So in the problem it is clearly mentioned, it is in a Carnot cycle, is operating between two reservoirs of at a temperature 750 and 35. So out of it 750 is a greater number, so it is the maximum temperature, we are represented with a T1, and minimum temperature as a T2. So efficiency is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. So if the engine receives, so engine receives means we are giving heat to the system, means QS or Q1, 220 kilojoules of heat from the source. Calculate the heat rejected. So they are asking the heat rejected, Q suffix R, and efficiency and the work done. So we all know that the work done is equal to QS minus Q rejected. So already in the problem the given heat supplied, and we know that the efficiency. So first write the given data. First write the given data. So upper temperature T1 750 degrees centigrade, lower temperature 35 degrees centigrade, heat receiving Q1 220 kilojoules, heat rejected we have to calculate, and efficiency we have to calculate. So firstly we know that first we have to calculate the efficiency, because we know the values of temperatures T1 and T2. So efficiency is equal to 1 minus of T2 by T1. So T2 value is 308 divided by 1023, we will get the efficiency. After getting the efficiency, we know that the efficiency is equal to W by heat supplied. W by heat supplied. So we know the efficiency by using these two values, and W divided by heat supplied is a 220. So from that we will get the W. After getting the W, we will get W is equal to Q1 minus Q2. Substitute the W value and the Q1 value, we will get the Q2 value. we will get Q2 value. So efficiency is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. So 1 minus 308 by 1023. So we will get 0.699. In terms of percentage means 69.9 percentage. After getting the efficiency, we use another formula for the efficiency of the Carnot cycle. That efficiency of the Carnot cycle is equal to W by heat supplied, and W is equal to Q in minus Q out. W is equal to Q in minus Q out. So first we will calculate the Q W out. So efficiency is equal to W out by Q in. We want the W out. So put W out here and cross multiply Q in to the this side. It becomes a efficiency into Q in. So efficiency is 0.699 into 220. You will get the Q out as a 153.78 kilojoules. 153.78 kilojoules. Substitute the W out here and Q out already here. We will get the Q in. An engine claims his engine to develop 3.7 kilowatts. On testing the engine, 0.44 kg of the fuel per hour, having the calorific value of 42,000 kilojoule per kg, the maximum temperature recorded in the scale is 1400 degrees centigrades and the minimum is 750 degrees centigrades. Find the engineer justified in his claim. So the next question, so this is also important for the 5 marks question. So an engineer claims that the engine has developed, so work done 3.7 kilowatts and testing on engine 0.44 kg of fuel per hour, heat supplied 0.44 fuel per hour, calorific value, the maximum temperature. So T1 1400 plus 273 1673 and the minimum temperature 752 plus 273. So calculate, find whether the engineer is justified in his claim. First write the given data. So work output 3.7 kilowatts. So nothing but kilojoule per second. Fuel consumed 0.4 kg per hour. So simply convert the hour into seconds. It becomes 0.44 divided by 3600 kg per second. Calorific value 42,000 kilojoule per kg. Upper temperature 1400 degrees centigrade. It is plus 273. It becomes 1673 Kelvin. Lower temperature 750 plus 273 gives us 1023 Kelvin. So this is the given data. Next, find whether the engineer claim is justified or not. Solution, we have to find the solution for that. So first calculate the heat evolved. So 0.44 into MCV, M value 0.44, calorific value of the fuel 4200, and here we also writing it in kilojoule per hour only. So after that convert into kilojoule per second, simply divided with 18480 divided by 3600, it becomes a 5.13 kilojoule per second. 5.13 kilojoule per second. Efficiency is equal to 1 minus T2 by T1. So 1 minus 1023 divided by 1673, it is a 38.86 percentage or 0.38. After getting the efficiency, we will calculate the heat heat supplied. Actual efficiency of the engine is the output by input. Output it is a 3.7 or heat in is a 5.13. So it is a 72.12 percentage. A standard efficiency is less than the actual efficiency, that the claim is not justified. So here that the efficiency is 38 efficiency of the Carnot cycle by using the temperature limits, it is a 38.86, and actual efficiency of the engine means 8 standard cycle work output by Q in. So we got is a 72.12. Here the 8 standard efficiency is actual 8 standard efficiency is less than the is greater than the efficiency of the Carnot cycle, because the efficiency of the Carnot cycle is 38 and actually 72. So here the actual of the efficiency is more than that of the efficiency of the Carnot cycle. So the claim is not justified. The claim is justified only when the air standard efficiency is greater than the actual efficiency. Here air standard efficiency is greater than the actual efficiency. So next, calculate the volume expansion ratios for the isothermal and isentropic process of a Carnot cycle operating between source and sink temperatures of 400 degrees centigrade and 15 degrees centigrade respectively. If the overall volume expansion ratio is 20, also find the efficiency of the cycle. Calculate the volume expansion ratio. Calculate the volume expansion ratio for the isothermal and isentropic process of a Carnot cycle operating between source temperature T1 400 plus 273 673 plus 15 plus 273. So if the overall volume expansion is 20, also find the efficiency of this cycle. First write the given data. T1 673 Kelvin, T2 288 Kelvin, overall expansion ratio Vc by Va is 20 degrees centigrade. So efficiency of a standard cycle, that is the Carnot cycle in terms of temperature 1 minus T2 by T1, we got the 0.58 percentage, 0.58. So in terms of percentage it is a 58 percentage. And we have to draw the PV diagram for the Carnot cycle, because they given that the overall expansion ratio, overall expansion ratio. So we all know that A to B is an isothermal expansion and B to C is adiabatic expansion, C to D is a isotropic isothermal compression, and D to A is an adiabatic compression. So adiabatic expansion is from a B to C. So we know that adiabatic expansion is the relation between temperature and volume in during the adiabatic process is, here the adiabatic expansion is takes place from B to C. That's why T1 by T2 is equal to Vc by Vb whole power gamma minus 1. So here gamma is a 1.4. 673 divided by 288 divided by Vc by Vb, 1.4 minus 1 becomes a 0.4. So bring this 0.4 to this side, it becomes a 1 by 0.4. 673 divided by 288 whole power 1 divided by 0.43. So it is as a Vc by Vb is equal to 8.36. Vc by Vb is equal to 8.36. Next. So from the figure, the overall expansion is Vc by Va. So Vc by Va you can write as a Vc by Vb into Vb by Va. So we know that the overall expression given in the data is a 20, and from the C to B we will calculate, we will get the expansion ratio as 8.36. So Vb by Va isothermal expansion is equal to 20 divided by 8.36, we will get the 2.39. So this is the ratio of the isothermal expansion. Vb by Va is a 2.39. Next topic is introduction to Otto cycle. So Otto cycle, if you need to know about the Otto cycle, so most of the 4-stroke SI engines are compared with an 8-standard cycles, and which is known as a Otto cycle. So we can say that if you need to measure the thermodynamic performance of four-stroke engines, the four-stroke engines means SI engines, we need to know, we have to understand the four different processes. So we need to know the thermodynamic states like a pressure, temperature, volume of the working substance at the end of the each every stroke, like a 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 1. And also we need to know whether different process, whether it is in a constant volume process or the constant pressure process, or the it process any adiabatic reversible adiabatic process or any other process. So we need to know that the thermodynamic process of the working substances at the end of every stroke following the different process, and for that we need a map all the process in a thermodynamic plane, because we can obtain the properties at the end if we can map the process in thermodynamic plane and map those processes to compare the process what is done, the process of the four-stroke SI engines are compared within a 8 standard cycles, which is known as an Otto cycle. So the Otto cycle, which is named as an Otto after one of the earlier developers. So Dr. A.N. Otto was the first man who constructed the first successful engine working on a constant volume cycle. So this cycle is also called as a constant volume cycle, because you are giving heat supply, you are giving heat at the constant volume. That's why it is also called as a constant volume cycle. Otto cycle is a constant volume cycle since the heat addition takes place at the constant volume. So this is a basic cycle on which the petrol and the gas engines work. So the petrol engines are nothing but the SI engines. So here Otto cycle, which is a cycle named as a Otto, we need to know, either we have seen that the four different strokes, that means intake means suction, compression, expansion and exhaust, these are the four strokes. So here the piston travels from BDC to TDC, or again coming from TDC to BDC. So we have again see that the volume of the working substance is getting changed, and the cost of the reduction of the volume, pressure and the temperature is also changes. So TDC and the BDCs. So this terminology we will see in the next chapter of the IC engines. So TDC is nothing but the top dead center, BDC is nothing but the bottom dead center. The piston is moving from BDC to TDC and again coming back from the TDC to BDC. Here, whereas the volume of the working substance is getting changed, and the cost of the reduction of the volume, pressure and the temperature also changes. So first we will see the cycle of the, we will see the thermodynamic process of the Otto cycle. So the sequence of the operations in Otto cycle are: 1. Adiabatic compression, 2. Constant volume at heat addition process, 3. Adiabatic expansion, 4. Constant volume heat rejection process. So what are the four operations of Otto cycle means we have to write like this. First one is adiabatic, 1 to 2 adiabatic compression, constant 2 to 3 constant volume heat addition process, adiabatic expansion, constant volume heat rejection. So how will you represent these four process on the PV diagram means here like this. So 1 to 2 adiabatic compression, 2 to 3 constant volume heat addition, 3 to 4 adiabatic expansion and 4 to 1 is a constant volume heat rejection. So this graph is a very important. So by looking this graph we will discuss what the process, how will the process takes place from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and the temperature variations, volume variations and the temperature pressure variations at each point. So first we will discuss 1 to 2 process. First we will discuss the working principles of Otto cycle, means it consists of a 4 process, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 1. So first I am telling that about the 1 to 2. So 1 to 2 here it is an adiabatic compression process. So 1 to 2 adiabatic process. Here the air is compressed from the state 1 to the state 2. So here the cylinder volume to here is a clearance volume here the part here with it is a clearance volume. So I will represent it is in a clearance volume. What is the gap here? We call it as a clearance volume. I am representing with a V suffix C. V suffix C, and the volume from 1 to 2 is a swept volume, representing means cylinder volume pi by 4 d square L. Total volume is Vs plus Vc. Vs is nothing but the swept volume inside the cylinder volume to the clearance volume. So initial pressure here it is a P1 T1, initial pressure at state 1 P1, temperature T1 is increased. Observe that the graph here 1 to 2 is a graph is increasing. Here comes to the pressure is increasing from P1 to P2. If you draw the line here, it represents the this one is P1, this one is P2, P1 means P2. So pressure is increasing from P1 to P2, P1 to P2. At 1 to 2, the pressure P is increasing from P1 to P2 and volume, whereas volume is decreasing. See here it is the volume V2. Here the volume is V2. Here the volume is V1. So V1 is more than that of a V2. So volume is decreased from V1 to V2 and the pressure is increasing from P1 to P2. So no heat transfer across the walls of the cylinder, hence there is no change of entropy. So internal energy increased and the work done on the system is equal to change in internal energy. We know that the thermodynamic is a dq is equal to du plus dw. Here the work is done on the system is q is equal to 0. So that the work w is equal to minus du. We know that. So no heat transfer across the walls of the cylinder, hence there is no change in entropy. So internal energy is increased. When internal energy is increased, work is done on the system, because work is done on the system means minus W. So we will get the internal energy as a positive. So internal energy will increases. So this is the process from 1 to 2 adiabatic compression. So move on to the second process. It is in a 2 to 3. So 2 to 3 constant volume. Observe that here it's a 3 and 2 is a parallel to the y-axis. Here if you observe that the whatever the value V2 and V3 is also same. So V2 is equal to V3. V2 is equal to V3. V2 is equal to at constant is equal at constant volume process, V2 is equal to V3. V2 is equal to V3. So here the heat is supplied to air from the hot source. So here we are giving the heat to the system, means heat supplied or Q1. So I am simply writing as a heat supplied means Qs. So we are giving the heat supplied at a constant volume. So heat is supplied to air from a hot body. Hot body is nothing but the source, keeping that the volume of the air is at a constant, keeping that the volume of the air as a constant. Observe that 2 and 3 at the same point. So we are keeping volume constant and supplying the heat at a constant volume process. So V2 is equal to V3. So this is the work done This is the process about the 2 to 3. So work done is a 0. There is no increase, there is an increase in entropy and internal energy. So the pressure and temperature, and coming to the pressure and temperature. So here the pressure PT to P3. Here the pressure is also increasing from P2 to P3. P2 to P3. P2 to P3. Pressure is increasing from P2 to P3 and temperature also increasing from T2 to, in TS diagram it is clearly will understand the temperature is also increased from T2 to T3. Here where the work done is 0. So W is equal to 0. W is equal to 0 means automatically dq is equal to du. In the first process, q is equal to 0. Du is equal to minus dw. In the second process, the work done is 0. So dq is equal to dw. So coming to the third process, that is an adiabatic expansion process. It is from 3 to 4. Adiabatic expansion process, it is from 3 to 4. See here 3 to 4. So the air expands adiabatically and work done by the system at the expense of an internal energy. So here the pressure and the temperature are reduced. Observe that there is a pressure, the curve is decreasing. So the pressure is decreasing to the P4. Pressure is decreasing to the P4. Here it is a pressure P4. P4. So the pressure is decreasing from P3 to P4, like temperature is also decreasing from T3 to T4, but the volume is increased. Here the pressure is decreasing. So pressure is inversely proportional to the volume because the PV power gamma is equal to constant. That's why pressure is inversely proportional to the volume. So here the pressure decrease means automatically the volume is increased to the V4. Volume is increased to the V4 and again here V1 is equal to V4. Again here V1 is equal to V4 and no heat is transferred and the entropy remains constant. No heat is transferred in the adiabatic expansion process. So the entropy remains constant. So Q is equal to 0 and W is equal to minus du. Next coming to the process 4 to 1. So 4 to 1, here the constant volume heat rejection process. Here heat is rejecting at 4 to 1 process. Heat is rejecting. Here the heat is rejecting. So heat is coming outside. Heat QR. Heat is rejecting at 4 to 1 process. Heat rejected QR. Constant volume heat rejection process 4 to 1. Heat rejected from the air to the cold body. Cold body, so nothing but the cold body means sink. So the volume of the air remains constant. So observe that here V4 is equal to V1. V4 is equal to V1. So I am writing it fourth here V4 is equal to V1. At fourth constant volume heat rejection V4 is equal to V1. V4 is equal to V1. So these are the four process in the representation of the Otto cycle. So first one is 1 to 2 adiabatic compression, 2 to 3 constant volume and 3 to 4 adiabatic expansion, 4 to 1 constant volume. So this cycle completes the following sequence by 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 1. So 1 to 2 represents adiabatic compression process, 2 to 3 constant volume heat addition process, adiabatic expansion, 4 to 1 constant volume heat rejection process. So the cycle completes from 1 to 2, 1 to 2, next 2 to 3, next 3 to 4, next 4 to 1. So the cycle completes like this. Again it comes to the position 1. So this cycle completes the following sequence like a 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 4 to 1. So here some assumptions are also made in the Otto cycle. So in the next class I will tell the what are the assumptions for the Otto cycle, and we will see the animations of the Otto cycle also. Just we have to remember what are the four process of the Otto cycle. So in this class we will discuss we discuss about the how to solve the problems of the Carnot cycle, and next Otto cycle, just representation of the Otto cycle and what are the four thermodynamic process explanation. In the next class we will discuss how the Otto cycle goes on work, means how the piston moves from the TDC to BDC, BDC to TDC. We will see the one animation and PV diagram and the representation of Otto cycle on a PV diagram, and TS diagram. In the next class I will show the TS diagram. T means temperature, S is the entropy of an Otto cycle, and then the sequence of operations of an Otto cycle. So 1 to 2 adiabatic compression, 2 to 3 constant volume heat addition, 3 to 4 adiabatic expansion, 4 to 1 constant volume heat rejection. So this one. Thank you. I'll see you in the next class.